Well, good morning everybody, and welcome back once again to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name's Mark Love, and today I'm going to be showing you a brand new 2025 London Aire. This is a 4595 floor plan, which is actually a new floor plan this year. They give you the option for a beverage center. There's a little wine cooler in there. Changes the back bathroom a little bit. And we've got some real unique features on this. First of all, this is 100% a custom paint job, and that's one of the things Newmar's willing to do for you. A lot of times, especially if you're getting a high-end coach, you want to, be a little different, set yourself out from the crowd. So this is a custom paint job. Katie kind of come up with these colors for us in the interior. Great look. I like the silver and the grays, not too gaudy. Let's go ahead and start walking around the outside. First of all, the London Aire is the first coach as you're going up the ladder where you get the 605 horsepower. You can tell because of the three-step entry on this. It's the big chassis. This year, the Freightliner is the standard chassis, but you can still get the option for a Spartin if you want. This one happens to be on the Freightliner. As we walk down the side, you're going to notice there's sensors all the way around. There's cameras. We've got them on the mirror. We've got them on the side. This does have the 360 camera. I like the way Newmar does their grab handle. Very heavy. It doesn't come loose with a keyless entry. We just brought the unit over, so it's all aired up. You can see we've got plenty of clearance here. We could dump this before we level it if we're at a campground. You hear the generator running right now. It's starting to get warm in Colorado. We got the AC running in there. But let me talk about some of the things that make Newmar a Newmar. When you know the difference, that's her slogan. First of all, you can fill your fuel tank from either side. And one of the things that I like to point out is, if you can hear that, that's a steel plate that encases that fuel line. So if you were to ever shred this tire, you're not going to tear up the fuel line. You check that on most coaches, and that's going to be a rubber line going into the fuel tank. So I like the way Newmar protects that. It doesn't take much to put that steel plate in there, but for some reason, a lot of companies just don't do it. And the other thing I'm going to talk about, as long as we're right here, is the way Newmar builds its slide outs and its flush slide technology. You can see how the fascia, the trim of this slide out, tucks right inside the sidewall. And what that does, as you're going down the road, they have found out that a lot of times there's more noise from the wind and the road noise coming in around the slides, around the doors and windows. When you build it this way, it's quieter. The rain, if you're driving in a real heavy rainstorm and you're going 50 miles an hour, it's trying to force that water inside this seal here. With these flush slides, you don't get weather inside. You don't hear the road noise. It's just a more comfortable drive. And again, one of the things that sets Newmar apart, makes them a little bit unique. Okay, let's look back in this first compartment, and we do have the refrigerator freezer. It's on a nice pull out, and this actually pulls out far enough that when your slide is open, you can open these up. And as you see, you've got two zones here. So if you want to set one for drinks, sodas, beers, keep another one for frozen food or all those salmon you're going to catch when you go up to Alaska. Great feature here. And they also put this storage tray in here a few years back, and it's such a great idea because it was wasted space otherwise. Let's move down and talk about the Star Foundation a little bit. Now, in these two compartments, you can see we've got pull-out slides in both of them, and they pull out from either direction all the way. And again, they put those little storage trays up above. But when I mentioned the Star Foundation, what I'm talking about is this superstructure right here. It's welded onto the chassis when they're doing the prep at Newmar. And basically, this superstructure really strengthens this frame. STAR stands for strong, true, and robust. And what you can see here, where'd you go? Oh, there we are. What you can see up here, your floor rails don't set on your chassis rails. Now, of course, they are connected, welded together with this superstructure. Comes out, supports the outside of your storage compartments. It makes for a much more rigid floor. But the fact that it's not sitting directly on the chassis rails, as you go down the road and you hit a big pothole, the whole frame's gonna tweak a little bit. So with this STAR foundation, you don't have your tile cracking. You don't have your grout, flaking and coming out. You don't get the twist in the frame that you will in other coaches. And like I say, the STAR foundation, strong, true, and robust, is one of the unique things Newmar does. Okay, above these compartments, we do have a 42-inch outside TV. Samsung 4K TV with a sound bar. And I've learned not to let go of this cover because it'd be a little bit tall for me to reach. Let's move back to the next compartment. And this one we get kind of a half pull out. We do have our Oasis system and some components behind it. So it's not a full pass-through tray, but it's a rather wide one. And you can get a lot of gear on there. You see, we do get a few extra tiles. Up here, we've got our central vac system. You can bring those attachments out and clean out your outside, which makes it really nice. I like the felt lining, the way they do this in all their compartments. Also, when you open a compartment door, the LED lights come on throughout the coach, so it's easy to see what you're looking for. Also, you've got 110 outlets almost in every compartment, so very convenient if you want to plug something in outside. Another thing I want to point out that's not standard, you see this vent up here above the window. First of all, that's the kitchen window, which is an option. And then you can vent your microwave outside. This is a Whirlpool microwave. Most of them are vented to the inside. So that is a special option, but if you do a lot of cooking, especially if you're running your vent fan, it's nice to be able to vent it on the outside, and you won't find that on very many coaches. Okay, oops, we already looked in that one. Here is a really good improvement. There's a water tank behind here. This was always a short compartment with pegboard, but they have gone from the Silverleaf to the ATC monitor panels inside, and this is part of the ATC wiring upgrade. This cluster of wires used to be back in your closet around the shoe rack, and it was just a mess. It looked like a bird's nest in here. This way, it's much easier to remove this cover, get to your components. It's hinged, so you can get behind it. It really doesn't make a lot of difference to me as a salesman or a lot of the customers, but the techs love it. And when they're in here working on it, it's a lot faster for them to diagnose an electrical problem if they can get right in there to it. Another one of our sensors right there. We have docking lights throughout on the outside. Okay, let's talk about the rear axles and wheels you see here. Of course, you notice there's two different hubs. That's because this rear one is a passive steer axle, a passive tag axle that will cant up to 17 degrees. So when you're backing into a really tight spot at an RV park or maneuvering around where you maybe have to do a U-turn, it really cuts down the turning radius, and it really helps prevent the scrubbing of the wheels when those actually, turn 17 degrees, kind of follow the front end around. So again, any of the Newmar diesels that are 40 feet or larger are going to have a steerable tag axle with them. Okay, let's move to the back couple compartments. So right here is our def tank, and you can fill that def tank from either side. We have 150 gallons of fuel, so that is going to be a 15-gallon def tank right there. And then in this back compartment, we have our master shutoff for our chassis batteries. These are the two 8D big starting batteries right there. Move around to the back. Again, another sensor. This is for your lane assist, your blind spot monitoring, collision avoidance, all that. You've got them throughout the whole coach. So again, this is the 605 Cummins. It's the biggest engine you can get on these diesels. And there we go. Let's take a quick look in the engine compartment. So everything that you need to access is right here at your fingertips. Your engine oil, your dipstick, your transmission. You have our Oasis fluid right here. Coolant right up there, a little window to see what levels it's at. Got a place you can plug in right here. This is for your air filter. This gauge kind of tells us how dirty this air filter is getting. About every 2 years, you need to change that air filter. And we actually have kits you can buy that have your belts, have your filters, have your parts that you're going to need eventually when you come time to do the maintenance yourself, or maybe you're on the road and you lose a belt. It's nice to have that replacement with you. Down below here, what we've got is a 20,000 pound rated hitch. We also are hooked up for our Kurt Spectrum brake controller. That's where we hook into the air system. 7-way plug right there. And here is our plug-in for our Voyager camera system. If you've got a stacker trailer or a horse trailer, maybe you've got a camera in it to keep an eye, you'd plug it in right there. Then you can toggle back and forth between the house camera and the coach camera if you've got one back there. And you can see we've got a couple of cameras in the back. This does have the 360 camera. Excuse me. So you've got cameras on both sides, front, back. It kind of gives you a bird's eye view of what you're looking at. Okay, let's move down the driver's side. First of all, it is a side radiator. And you've heard me say it before, the thing about a side radiator is they give you better cooling, number one, because of the way the air flows over it, rather than being in the back of the coach. But number two, it's also just a bigger radiator. So when you get the big horsepower, this is a Cummins 15-liter engine, has, what was that, 1,950 foot-pounds of torque, 605 horsepower. As you're pulling a heavy load, if you've got 20,000 pounds and you're going up Vail Pass, you don't want to overheat. So having this side radiator really does help keep the engine cool. Then over here, another place where we can fill our depth. So it doesn't matter what side of the fuel tank you pull up on, you can fill your fuel and your depth from both sides. Right here we get just kind of a little cubby there. You might carry a sewer hose or something. This does have a macerator, so you're probably not using a sewer hose a lot, but gloves, oil, other things that, you know, might be a little dirty, you don't want to bring inside. Here we have our water compartment. And like I said, there is a macerator here. You also have a macerator toilet inside. There's our filter for the whole house filter. And I like the way Newmar kind of etches in everything you need here. They're all labeled, easy to figure out what they are. You do have a black tank rinse and a gray tank rinse, which is kind of a nice feature. You'd hook your water up right there. This is where you turn your SaniCon system on. We also have a monitor panel right here, kind of hard to see, but check your battery levels, your tank levels, everything right here. And the London Aire, the 25 London Aire, actually has the tilt feature. So as you're draining your tanks, you can tilt the whole coach this way with your air leveling system, and that'll help you completely drain out the tank better. Here we've got our outside shower, power water line, main dump valves for your black and gray. They are in an enclosed heated area. Just a great looking water compartment, even a place for some paper towels to hang right there. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out is this hinge and this door right here. If you watch as I shut it, how this door goes up. You might ask, why would they do that? Well, this has got the Moore floor, this heavy HWH slide out. It comes out and then it actually drops about 3 or 4 inches, so we have a flush floor inside. If they didn't put this hinge in, this door would have to be 3 or 4 inches shorter. You would lose this area up here as far as having access to it. So the way they build this, you can see it comes up, it's tight when it's closed, and then when that slide comes out, the way it drops down, it gives you the clearance that you need. Kind of a really unique feature. I don't think I've seen this really on any other coach. The reason this door doesn't need it, it's short, so the slide comes out and goes over top of it without any problem. Okay, and here we've got our 50 amp power cord, and this is a manual out, then a power rewind. And they put this power switch right here on the door, which I kind of like. It makes it easier to get it in and out. Also have your transfer switch, surge protector right in there. 30 amp plug. Maybe you've got a stacker trailer, like we said, or something where you want power to your whatever you're towing. You can run your cord in here, drop it down through there if you need to. We also have cable input right there. Another thing that, now that I'm thinking of it, I didn't point it out on the other side because I didn't have the awning out. But if you look up on the top of this coach, it looks like it's got awnings. This side is actually dummies. On the passenger side, you have your Girard Nova awnings, which come out and articulate. And in order to keep it symmetrical, they put these two on the driver's side. If you've got a King Air, you can actually order awnings for this side, so you could have them come out and cover both sides of the coach if you want. Sorry we didn't get that awning out. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the video for you. Okay, here is the other side of our storage compartments. And this has got our Oasis Chinook, 50,000 BTU. This provides your furnace, the coach heat. It provides the hot water, engine preheat. This is a diesel burner. You also have 2 electric burners inside. So it's a little bit more efficient, I would say, than the AquaHot, which only have 1 electric and 1 diesel burner inside. Plus, it burns a little quieter and a little bit cleaner. That's one of the reasons Newmar uses it. And then again, we've got these pull-out trays on both sides. And right here, we've got our house batteries. Now, this has the 640 amp hour Lithionics battery with 2 3,000 watt inverters. So plenty of power if you are going to be out off the grid for a little while, but with your generator and your auto gen start, whenever that maybe gets a little low, close to 12 volts, you can just have it programmed to kick on automatically and recharge those batteries. By the way, this top inverter, I believe it is, that will run your front air conditioner off the batteries. So if you're going down the road, you don't want to run your generator, or if you're just sitting inside your coach and want to run that front air conditioner, you don't need 110 power. You can do it off your inverters. Again, another fuel fill with a protected fuel line right there. And then up here, this is where our chassis fuses are primarily. And also, I left the ignition switch on, and you need to have that on to run this out. We've got an electric slide for our generator, and this is the 12,500 kilowatt gen, or 12,500 watt generator. It's nice when you get it open, you can step right inside. A couple of things I will point out. We've got hot water right here, so if you need to clean off your windshield or your whole coach, you can tie into it. We have an air chuck right here too, so you can fill up your tires, air up your water toys or anything. You've got a compressor on board, you might as well be able to tie into it. See our windshield washer fluid right there. And the big generator, that's going to run all three of your ACs, your microwave, everything you need at the same time. Let me go ahead and run that back in. There we go. Then up front, you can see we've got our collision mitigation system. We do have blind spot monitoring, lane assist, adaptive cruise control. All the safety features that you can get are on this coach. Let's go ahead and take a look at the floor plan, and then I'll open the slides up. I like to leave the main slides closed when I walk around the outside. Number one, makes it easier to get into the compartments, but it shows you what it's like to get through here while you're traveling. It's easy enough to walk. You've got wide enough aisles. Maybe you've got a couple of big dogs, German Shepherds or Labs, and you know they have trouble getting through. Well, they've got plenty of room here. Boy, that air conditioner feels good. Now I'm going to step back here and go ahead and get into my slide outs. Excuse me, I've got to do that from up front. That's not on the KIB panel. Pardon me. Let me get back to that. So right here, we've got our slide out controls. We also have privacy drapes here for the front driver, passenger side window awnings. This is our Girard awning. They are 110 awnings. So if you're not plugged in, you need your inverter on or have 110 power for that. I'll go ahead, let me get to channel 3. And I can hear them running out right now. So maybe when we step outside, we can get a view of the awnings. This is our Winegard satellite system right here. You do have to provide your own box for that. And then our slide out controls are right here, and I like the fact that you can run both of them out at the same time. You can see here behind the driver's seat the heavy duty HWH system. The rollers don't even touch the ground down there, and as it or touch the tile, and as it goes all the way out, it will settle. But there we go. They may not be the fastest slide outs, but they're extremely dependable. There we go. Okay, so we are in the London Aire 4595. Like I say, it's a new floor plan. Let's just start right here at the cab, show you a few of the storage compartments you have there. There is your Girard awning controller, and of course, we have 3 of them because there's 2 main awnings and then one over the door right there. A little bit of storage up in this compartment. And again, a 42-inch overhead TV. This is the optional TV. We've got our routers up here, master reset switch. Also, here's something that's kind of convenient. When they started using lithium batteries, the lithium batteries will shut themselves off once in a while if it gets too cold or power gets too low. And you had to go down to the battery to reset it. They put the reset button up here, right? So it just makes it a lot easier if you do have to wake those batteries up to do it right here. Over here we get a couple of more smaller storage compartments. And then while I'm here, I'll just talk about the dash a little bit. Nothing's really changed on the dash other than they've got 2 10-inch monitors here. They put it under one large piece of glass, so it really is a nice look. This one here, there's a communication problem or a line that's unplugged. I should be able to switch and it'll show me my cameras. Now, the fact that this isn't working gives me a good chance to point out over here on the right, on the passenger side, you've got a duplicate monitor there. So you can see that's our bird's eye view on the right, rear view angle. on the left there. But the passenger can navigate for you. They can, you know, scroll through the radios. They can do pretty much everything on that little screen that you can on the big screen right here. Also, our visors are all right here. Kind of nice on a hot sunny day to block that sun out. We do have a blackout shade also for night. We've got our gen running, as you can see right now. Courtesy lights, docking lights. We do have our overhead fans with high, medium, and low control here. Tag axle dump. Now, you might want to do this if you're backing up into a really tight spot. You're not lifting the tag axles off the ground, but you're taking all the pressure. You're dumping the air. So as you back in, you're not scrubbing them. It makes them a lot easier to maneuver in tight spots. And then here we've got our battery boost. You can pool your house and your chassis batteries. Maybe your house battery's kind of dead. Start up the engine, hit your house boost. That'll allow you to start the generator, recharge those house batteries. And then let me go ahead and get this on. There we go. Takes a second for everything to boot up. So glass dash, easy to see. And one of the things I like to point out, over here, you've got your menu. So over here on the left, I can scroll through it. Now, I talked about the comfort steer, and that's adjusted right here. So if I'm on the highway going, 70 miles an hour, I might want to turn this up to give me a little bit more tension on the wheel. When I'm, driving around town or just parking it in my driveway, I might turn that all the way down, so it's much easier to turn the wheel right there. Let's see if we go back. Gives you our fuel economy. You might not want to look at that. This one hasn't got very good coming out. Mobile eye. Now, what this is going to do, our headway warning distance, I've got it set on medium as we're approaching other traffic. High beams, lane departure warning. Now, you can disable that. A lot of people don't like the beeping every time you cross a lane. You could set it on low or high sensitivity there. We also have our road watch, which basically is your cruise control, and you can set the distance at where it senses that car and starts to slow you down. Then we also have a tire pressure monitor. So it tells you the pressure of all your tires. As you can see, everything's good right there. So this pretty much controls what you've got on the screen. Over here on the right, this is where you would Bluetooth in your phone, answer your phone, your cruise control, you'd set it here, increase, decrease it. Like I say, it's a pretty basic dash, like most of the Newmars are, and we'll get this camera going before you come out here and drive it. Over here on the left also, let me point out, first of all, we do have charging pads for both the driver and the passenger right there. Window switch. We've got our auto action control that we can override right here. Our air horn, if we want the big one or just the wimpy one. Heated mirrors right here. And then we've got our HWH leveling system. And then back here, they've kind of changed the air leveling system. I see different monitor panel here, but this is going to allow you to adjust your height as you go down the road. Let me see, I haven't gone through all of this yet. On the leveling, as you can see, you can manually air level it from right here. Little different system that used to be on the monitor, but maybe that's the difference between the Freightliner and the Spartin. And then one other thing, seats are heated and air cooled, and these are real leather seats, fine Corinthian leather. Great looking furniture in here throughout. As we move back, This floor plan standard comes with 2 couches. You've got a 74-inch, and then I believe this is an 87-inch here. The 87-inch is a full pull-out, and that would have a jackknife. When you opt for the theater seats, which are also 87 inches, you now get a fold and tumble over on this couch, so you do have an extra sleeper if you want it. And then another thing that I like to point out, from almost any place you sit, you have one of these monitor panels here. So I can adjust all my lighting. Maybe, you know, I want all of my shades down. So kitchen, living room, night shades. I can close them all at once right there. We do have a monitor panel right here, so if I want to check, because I've got the engine running and the generator on, you can see our batteries are both at 14 volts. This tells you what power we're drawing and from which leg. And then also we have our black, fresh, and gray. By the way, we do have 105 gallons of fresh water, 80 gallons of gray, 60 gallons of black on this one. So again, you have these throughout the entire coach. These are very comfortable. I have to come and check them out every now and then. They will take you all the way back, and I guarantee you can sleep in these. The other thing is we've got our televator, and you can see the TV popping up now across from me. Oops, probably should have, there we go. Tuck that behind. So again, we've got the theater seating in these. Over here, we do have the fold and tumble, and I'm not going to pull this out. This flips over. You've got your cushion here. You've seen me do it on plenty of videos, but there is a sleeper here big enough for 2 adults. Okay, overhead, this one actually has 4 compartments that are all open to each other. And by the way, I'm going to give Katie a little bit of kudos. She ordered this, and this year they have the option for the 2-tone cabinets. So we have the Sedona underneath the dark cabinets, the dark trim, and then the white is called Summit, I believe. And you only have 1 color choice for the upper cabinets, but you have a couple of dark color choices for the lower ones. Also, the wall paneling, the fabric for the couch. I mean, I got to give her credit. She really did a good job of making this one look nice. 3 more storage compartments over here. And they have the hidden hinges, great looking hardware. This table is not one that converts, but you do have 2 table leaves. So this will pull out a long way, and then there we go. We do have a little support leg right here. Like I say, a couple of leaves and a couple of folding chairs with matching fabric that are underneath the bed. That's just held up by a magnet there. There we go. Over here we've got 3 more storage areas. Across from the dinettes, our kitchen. So we've got a large convection microwave. I think this is a 30-inch. Below that, we have our induction cook surface. And this is the type that pulls out. You can unplug that, take it out under your awning and plug it in and cook outside if you'd like. By the way, any metallic pan will work with this induction. Anything that a magnet will stick to, like your cast iron, you can use on this. Nice silverware drawer. You've got all your remotes in here. Touch-up paint for the outside. Filter wrench. There we are. We were looking for this key. I'll tell you what that's for later, but I don't know if I'm going to use it. And then you do have a dishwasher Dishwasher, you do need 110 power to get opened up. You know, we didn't go through these compartments. Let me open up what we've got here over the TV. And this is sort of your video cabinet. Now, it does have a satellite on it. You could either get a dish or a direct box. A lot of people are using streaming services. Also, Starlink is an option now. So there's a lot of different ways people are getting their entertainment these days. Okay, we come over to the sink here. And it's an undermount porcelain sink. Actually, that black looks pretty good. Nice high polish countertops. And this one doesn't have the pull-out sprayer. You do have the switch here to turn on your sprayer. Like I mentioned, this window is an option. It doesn't come standard. And this is vented out the side of the coach. Most of them, they only vent right here through the screen. So it's nice to be able to get that outside. Here we've got area for your trash can. Another pull out there. Got a little drawer here, and another small cubby area over here. Any place they've got room for storage, they put it in. And I'm impressed that even on this little drawer, they use the dovetails. They do that throughout. It's solid wood, it's thick, it's not a cheap particle board or plywood. Newmar really does a great job with their cabinets. Now, here is the beverage center. So you've got an option of just having storage or a cabinet there, but we put the beverage cooler or wine cooler down below. And nobody could figure out how to open this up. There's a safety latch underneath. And I just found the key for it, but I'm not going to get down there and crawl. But believe me, this is a nice little wine cooler. You can kind of see inside. We haven't unpacked it yet. Okay, across from the kitchen area, this is one of the unique things of this floor plan. First of all, we get a nice pantry area right there, and those you have to push in to release. Owner's manuals right there. I like the way they do the bottom for cookie sheets or taller items. Even your covers for your sink and your induction cook surface can slide down there. Then we do have the 19.7 cubic foot Whirlpool residential refrigerator. And again, this is going to work off one of those 3,000 watt inverters in your battery. The refrigerators are really quite efficient, so they don't take a lot of power. And then over here, we get another pantry or shelf storage area. So you have one on each side of the refrigerator. So there's so much storage in this kitchen. Plus with this extra beverage center right there, gives you a lot of room. Now, the one sort of drawback about that, putting this beverage center in and two pantries means we've got to take some room out somewhere else. And I'll show you that when we get back into the bathroom. The bathroom's a little bit narrower on this one. Okay, next we come to our half bathroom. And let me just open some of these up and let you get a look at it. Now the cabinet that's closed over the toilet there, that has your 110 breakers and your 12 volt fuses. There's really no storage in there, but you get plenty of storage everywhere else. Nice, large, high polish countertop. Big medicine cabinet right there. And you do have a fantastic fan. There's 3 of them. One in this bathroom, one in the back bathroom, and then one over your kitchen area. Okay, and pantry we've talked about. We do get a nice privacy door here. Then as we step into the bedroom area here, first of all, we've got our king bed, and let me just show you what we've got underneath. There's good storage. You can see we've got our 2 table leaves, and then our folding chairs that match the fabric of the dinette table. On each side of the bed, you get a pedestal, and there is some 110 outlets. You've got your USB and USB-C ports down there. Overhead. This is an open cabinet, and it's very deep. You could get a lot of clothes or bedding or whatever you wanted in there. There is a 110 outlet up there, and you have access ports on each side. So if you needed to put a sleep apnea machine or something in, you could leave it up above and run it down below, or you could use the pedestal. And you do have a monitor panel here. The nice thing about that, once you get in, and you got to put in your code. If you forgot to turn the lights out in the kitchen when you get in bed, you can do it from right there. You can start and stop your generator, things like that. Both sides of the bed also have functioning opening windows. So, you know, gives you a nice cross breeze. Okay, across from the bed, let's take a look at our dresser and TV area. Here we've got another, I believe this is a 41-inch TV. And then underneath, 4 drawers. And all of the drawers, all of the cabinets are soft close. And then under here, we have actually 6 large drawers. And these are actually pretty deep. You'll be able to get a lot of clothes and stuff in here, plenty enough for 2 people. And you can kind of see how the Summit and the Sedona, I mean, this two-tone is new for this year, and it's going to take a little bit of time to grow on people, but I'm kind of liking it. You get the right flooring, the right wallboard. This is really a good-looking coach. Over here, again, we have a place for video components. We do have our satellite set up here. Then, of course, this is an egress window, but we have an emergency exit behind the toilet, too, so hopefully that'll never get used. And another opening window here. Okay, let's move back into the bathroom. Get some lights on here. Let's go with the mirror lights first. They've got really nice lights. Go to our vanity. There we go. Get our ceiling lights on. So, as we first step into the bathroom area, there's our washer and dryer. That is the Splendide stackable washer and dryer. And I mentioned that because of the 2 pantries and the beverage center that takes up some room in the kitchen, we had to give that room back somewhere. If you notice, we don't have a closet all the way in the back. That's where they've sort of made up the space. So for wardrobe area, you do have a couple of different areas. Right there's one of them. Get a few shelves and a nice place for some hanging clothes. Right here, by the way, if you want to see it, is just access to your plumbing. And then, like I said, we've got an egress door. And if I were to pull this tab, remove that cover, there's a ladder that drops down. So it makes it real easy to get in and out compared to going out through a window. And this is just a one-way door. You can't open it from the inside. Okay, a couple of nice vessel sinks here. Let's get our medicine cabinet opened up. And this is 7-8 inches deep there. You got a lot of room, 110 outlet there. Storage down below. compartment there. And then here is our other wardrobe. So like I say, we don't have the full wardrobe that goes across the back, but you do have a couple of different spots to hang your clothes. A lot of deep drawers. In fact, there's 3 more full pull-out drawers right here. Okay, and then let's take a look at the shower. So this is the 32 by 40. Now there are some showers that are bigger, but not by much. A 32 by 40 gives me plenty of elbow room. With the cathedral ceiling in the bathroom, it's tall enough if you're 6'2", 6'3", be able to get in here and shower. Got your shampoo, conditioner, holders right there. The teak seat, I love these. they really come in handy. And then also this has the water miser system. You can see right there the aqua view. Basically what that's going to do, it's going to preserve your fresh water and keep you from filling up your gray tank too fast. As you're heating up your water for a shower, it's recirculating. Fresh water is going back into the fresh tank. You're not wasting it. Once this light turns red, you switch the valve, then you take your shower. At that point, you're putting the water down into your gray tank. So the water miser just prevents you from wasting a lot of water while you're waiting for it to heat up. Preserves the fresh water if you're going to be on a long trip. Okay, there's always something that I mean to bring up when I get done. I will point out the ceiling. Newmar does a great job with their decorative ceilings, especially in their higher end coaches. A couple of them in the King Air and the Essex, I've seen them that are almost too much. I like this. This is tastefully done. It hides all of our air conditioning ducts, which by the way, run right down the middle, both your intake and your output. Beauty of that is when these 2 slides come in, your air conditioning's blowing down in the opening. It's not blowing down over your slide out. So easier to keep it cooler if you're driving through Texas in the middle of July, something like that. Yeah, I think the awning is still out. So let's step outside here and take a look. Well, I tell you what. Why don't you step out, and I'm going to run them out again because the motion probably set them up. Let me see. There we go. So again, these are your Girard Nova roof mount awnings. They cover the whole coach and they come out, they articulate. Just a great place to hang out, watch TV, bring your induction cook surface out, cook your meal out here if you like. Once again, this is a London Aire. It's the 4595 floor plan. My name's Mark Love. If you have any questions, you can text or call me at 970-631-0083. And if you want to email me, my email is mlove@transwest.com. Let me know if you have any questions. You want to come down for a test drive. It's summertime just about, so let's get out, get traveling. Happy trails, my friends. Drive careful out there.